Welcome guys to my YouTube channel. So in today's video I'm going to share with you how to install DHIS2 on Windows 10. So with me here I've got all the files that are needed to complete the installation. So we need the Apache Tomcat, DHIS2 file, JDK and JRE, and lastly we'll need the PostgreSQL database. Let's first download these. We go to our browser. We need the PostgreSQL download, PostgreSQL database. Then we select our platform, which is Windows. Download the installer. Then we select the latest version of PostgreSQL database, which is 13.1. It's both 6.32-bit system. We hit download. And we download that. Then secondly we will need the DHIS2 download. We select the latest version, which is 2.35. It was released today. So we get our DHIS2 file. Since I already have it, I have to cancel. Then thirdly we will need the JDK and the JRE download. So let's get our JRE. So we select if you're on 32 you select x86, but I'm on 64, so you select x64. It downloads. Then we'll need the JDK. Again, depending on your system, you can either select 32-bit or 64-bit. Downloads. Then lastly you need Apache Tomcat. Downloads. You need to take the latest version of Apache Tomcat, right? But the latest version that is there is Apache Tomcat 10, the beta version, but I wouldn't recommend you to download the beta version because this one is a bit unstable. So we'll go for Apache Tomcat 9. And this is very important, guys. The file that you need to download here is the 32/64-bit version Windows Service installer. This is the file that you need to select. Then you can hit download. Okay, so now that we've finished our download process, the second stage is we have to first install the PostgreSQL database. So the installation is gonna take a bit of some time, so I will have to fast forward the process so that we save time. So we click next. This is going to be our installation directory, program files, Postgres 10. Then we hit next. Make sure that all the components are selected here. Then click next. This is our data directory. Click next. Right, so we need to set the password for our super user, for our database super user Postgres. So I'll put hash pass 123. Just put a simple password that you won't forget. then we select next. So we're going to leave the port as 5432, the default. Then here we're going to say next. Setup is now ready. Next. And again, this will take a bit of some minutes, so we have to fast forward. Right, so once the installation process finishes, you see the stack builder. This option is ticked. Leave it ticked as it is, and click finish. You come here and select the Postgres SQL version 10 and click next. Right, once we are here, we come to this partial extension. We need to install the PostGIS, the latest component or the latest bundle for PostGIS 3.0. This component will be used by the DHIS2 for GIS maps, so we need to include this. So you can take it and click next. Right on this screen, you don't have to tick this, you leave it as it is, then you click next, agree. Then here on our PostGIS, we can click create special database. Then it's going to be installed in our Postgres, inside, and it's going to be installed inside our Postgres directory. Then you click next. So here the username for our database, the super username for our database, we have set it to hash pass 123. You still remember previously when we created the password for the super user of our database. So that's the password you enter here. Then you click next. Special database information. So this is a sample database that is going to be installed in the Postgres state sample. Click next. Would you like to use register? Then you click yes. Then we'll wait for it to finish the installation process. I think it's taking a bit of some time. Right, once it's completed, finish. Now to check if our database is installed successfully, we can come here and search for pg admin. Not shown, or we can come to our apps here, Postgres SQL 10, then we select pg admin. Right, you're currently running the version of version 4.24 of PG admin. However, there is the current version 4.27. I think we can ignore this. Please enter the master password. This is the safe password. So we can enter the password that we have provided before for the super user. We can choose to save this. Then we come to server. Right now we are inside our server, which have got two databases, the PostGIS, state sample, and Postgres. So now we want to create a user, a different user. So we come here on our login group roles, then we create want to create a new user. We can say DHIS admin, DHIS2 admin, our user, define privileges, then we can enter the password here, #pass123, then privileges at this, you can choose to save the password. Then on privileges, I think at the moment we can select all the privileges, but then later on we can review these privileges depending on the roles that we want the user to perform, and click save. So if you come to our users now, here you can see that we now have a new user, DHIS2 admin. Then we come to our databases. We want to create the database which our user will be administering. So you can say it's a DHIS2 DB, DHIS2 database. Then the owner, want to set the owner of this database to our new user that we have created. Then we leave everything. We don't have to change anything here. We just have to assign our new database to the new user that we have created, and create and click save. So our database has just been created. We come to it here and we see. So after we've created our database and assigned it to the user that we've created, we come to the extensions and say create extensions. Then on the name we select Postgres. Select Postgres and click save. Right, so the Postgres extension has just been added to our extensions. You still remember the Postgres that we installed before, so we just added it to our extensions. Okay, so after we've added our extension here, the Postgres extension, we come to our schema and we go to our tables. We can see right now there's only one table, spatial ref system, which is our table here. So now everything looks good. Okay, now that we have finished our installation of our Postgres SQL database, we need to do some performance tuning. We need to set up these parameters inside of our postgres.config file. But before we do that, we need to make sure that we shut down the server, Postgres server, which is running. So we come to the task manager, and under services we search for Postgres. Postgres database, yes, here we find it, Postgres database. Then we stop the server. Once we stop our Postgres SQL server, we come to C program files. sorry, it's not executed the program files. Then we come to Postgres intain, then we come in data with Postgres SQL config. Then we can open with Notepad++ or any text editor that you have. So what we need to do here is these performance parameters, right? Depending with the size, with the RAM size of your machine, you would have to set these parameters. So first of all, if you are running on 16 gig or more, you take these bigger values, but if you are running on 8 gig RAM as me, you take half of this value. So instead of 200 you put 200, instead of 200 you put 100, instead of 3.2, which is almost 3 gig, you put a value like 1 gig, instead of 20 gig, something like that. So you need to find this line here, maximum connection. So if you control F, then we maximum connection is set to 100. So according to our performance tuning here, it's fine because I'm on 8 gig, so I would use that one. It's fine. So we need to find shared buffer. Shared buffer has got 128 MB, so we need to put at least 1024 MB. This is MB, so I can put 1024 MB here. 1024 MB. The next parameter that we need to change is the work memory. So we come here and find work memory, right? It's commented right now, so we need to uncomment it, remove the comment and put it at work memory. We have to put it at around work memory, we have to put it at around 10 megabytes for 8 gig. If you are on 16 gig or more, you can put it at 20. So work memory, we can put it at 10 megabytes. Then the maintenance work memory, we can put this one at 256 MB for 8 gig RAM. So we come here, look for this, we uncomment it and put 256, and we come to effective cache size. Its effective cache size, how much do we need here? Right, for 8 gig RAM, yeah, we can set it to 4. And again, if you are on 16 gig RAM or more, you can put it at 8 gig. So I'll leave it like that. Then checkpoint target, checkpoint completion target, you can search for that here. Completion target, let's see, this one we can leave it at 0.5, but it's commented, we need to uncomment it. Okay, then the last thing, then what's next? The synchronous commit needs to be turned off. By default it's turned on, so let's look at it. Synchronous commit, by default it's commented, so we need to turn that off. Okay, then what else? Then the wall writer display, let's see, let's find that wall writer display. It's set at again, we need to set this let me say undo. Alright, wall writer display. To 10,000, let's put that at 5,000. Right, then random page cost, let's see random page cost, but random page costs, right, this one, if your computer or you've got an SSD, you can change, you can uncomment it and set it at 1.1. but if you are on HDD, if you have got if you don't have an SSD but you've got an HDD drive, you can just ignore this. Since I don't have my machine doesn't have an SSD, so I'm just going to ignore this. Then the last thing that we need to work on our parameters, the maximum log per transaction. So we come here, maximum log per transaction, max log per transaction. So it's maximum logs. So the last parameter we need to work on is the maximum logs per transaction. Right, it's commented, so we need to uncomment it. You can just leave it as it is. 64, it's okay. So, but let me make this clear. This performance tuning, they are not really necessary. It just depends. They're not really necessary. What is necessary? All these steps you can skip them, but what you have to make sure is that you uncomment this maximum logs per transaction, since it was commented. So you can ignore all this performance tuning and tweaking of the memory, and just go straight to effect only this part. But if you want your program to run, if you want your database to run smoothly, that's when you can do all the hassle of trying to change all these memory spaces or this memory size, depending with the size of the RAM of your PC. But you can ignore all these and just and just effect this last memory performance tuning. So this is very important. You can choose to ignore all these, but this is very important. So right, once we're done with our performance tuning, we save, then we come to restart our server. Now the next stage is to install our JDK and our JRE. So we click. So again, I'll skip this process. It's just straightforward. So you wait for it until it finishes installing. Then you come to same applies to the JDK. So once you've finished installing your JDK and JRE, you close. Now that we've just finished installing our JDK and JRE, we can just check if they've installed successfully. So we come to search for command prompt, and then you can type Java -version. It's now telling us that we have installed Java version 1.0.8.21. So this just shows that our JDK and JRE have installed successfully. You can close that. So what we now need to do, what we now need to do is to set the environmental variable, the system variables of these two that we've just installed. So to do that, we need to come to our configuration files here, Java configurations. So these are our system environmental variables that we need to set. So for us, let's come here, our PC, properties, then we come to advanced settings, environmental variables. Then we would use our variables, then we've got system variables. So under system variables, what we need to do here is to, first of all, we need to set an environmental, we need to set a variable name DHIS home. So we copy here, so we come here to our system variables, then we say new, put our variable name here, then the value, we put the directory, C directory inside the folder called DHIS2. Then we say okay. So what we need to do, we now need to go and create this folder inside our C. So if we come back here, see, we don't have that folder here, so we need to create a folder here and name it DHIS2. Right, so this is the corresponding folder of the environmental variable that we've just set inside C. This where is it? So this is the environmental variable. So next, what we need to do here is to create another variable name called Java Ops. Okay, so we come and say new Java Ops on value. We come and copy this value and put it there. We hit OK. Then thirdly, inside our path variable, we need to include this path to our JDK installation that we have done. So we come here to our, inside our path variable, here, say edit. We need to add a path to our JDK in the installation folder inside bin. So what we need to do here is we can come here, it's not, you can see that it's not there. So what we need to do here is we can say add new. So then we say browse, we go to C, you can get it in what, in this PC, and we get it in C under programs, sorry, it's under programs, then that's under Java, JDK inside bin, right? So that's correct. Let's just verify to see if that's correct. Yes, JDK latest bin. Then we say OK. OK, and OK. Okay, wait. So I think how many variables have we set here? We've got DHIS2 home, Java ops, and we've set. Wait, I think there is one missing variable that we need to cater for here. I don't know how I've skipped that. There's a variable that we need to add also. I've skipped that. I've just realized, because I know there are 4 variables that we're supposed to effect here, but we've just created 3 so far. We've just effected 3 variables. So I think variable name is supposed to be Java home, Java underscore home. Then the value is supposed to be pointing to our C. Supposed to be pointing to our C program files, right? Program files, I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be pointing to our program files, Java JRE something. So this variable is the one that we're supposed to create. It's the last one that we're supposed to create, called Java home. But on value, we can browse the directory, which is C, program files, Java, then our JRE. Yes, something like this. Right now there are 4 variables: the Java home, Java ops, DHIS2 home, then our path that we've just effected to make it 4. Right now, I think we are all set here for this. What's next? Now the next step is to install our Apache Tomcat installer. We say next. We need to turn the host manager on. Then here we leave everything as default as the port connector port 88, server shutdown port -1. Then here maybe we can say our Windows Service manager, Windows Service name, we can say Tomcat 9 DHIS2. So DHIS2. Then Tomcat administrator login, we can say admin. Password, you can say #pass123. Okay, next. Then it quickly picks our JRE installed environment. Then we can say next, then install. Wait for it to finish the installation process. Now once it finish installation process, you need to uncheck this. You don't need to run the Apache Tomcat server right now. Then you can click finish. Now the next stage is to come to our configuration file. Here we have got this dhis.conf file. So we can open it with any text editor. So Okay, so what's inside this dhis.configuration file is the connection to the database that we have created. If you still remember this database that we have created in our Postgres SQL, we have created this database with the user, this user that we have created. So this file is aiding us in connecting to the database. So what we need to change here, everything remains the same here. What just needs to change here is the database name. So if we have forgotten, we can come and cross check here. We said it's DHIS2 database. So we can come here and put what DHIS2 database. That's our database name. Then the username we have said is DHIS. Can't remember. Our database name we said it's what. You can come and verify here. It's DHIS2 admin. DHIS2 admin. That's our database. And our password was #pass123. So the only thing that we need to change is the database name, the username, and the password of the database that we have created here. Then everything else remains the same, so you can save these changes. Then this file, you need to copy it. You need to copy this file to the directory folder that we have created inside C. Come here to our DHIS, then we paste this config file here. So basically what we are saying is this is the configuration file that we will be talking to our database here. So after that, we come to where in Tomcat inside web apps, that's when we need to paste our DHIS2 file. So once we are done with that, we need to come to, then one thing that there's one last thing that we need to effect inside our Tomcat folder. So we need to come here, we need to come on our config file, then in our server file here we can open to, there's a line that we need to add. There's a line that we need to add on our connector port here, right, somewhere here, right. So you can just copy this line and come and edit here. Line can come and paste it here, right, and hit save. So we now need to come to our Tomcat folder here inside bin. Then we need to run our Tomcat.executable file here, run it as administrator to extract our DHIS. So what it's basically doing, let me come here and show you what it's basically doing. If we come inside web app, it's extracting this WAR file. This is what's happening. It's extracting, so this process, what it's doing is extracting this dhis.war file into this folder. So once it gives us this message that says start server, startup in 33.757 milliseconds, we can close it. Then we come to our bin, then run this to start our server. Then hit OK. Okay, so if everything went on fine, you should be able to see something returned to your database here. So we need to refresh first. Right, so we are breaking our server. Remember last time when we checked, there was only one table in our database. So if all the process of installation goes on fine, you should be able to see some tables written here. Like we now have 444 tables written. So that means our installation process went on fine. Okay, so now let's also check our Tomcat server to see if it's up and running. So we can type here localhost 4880. Usually it takes some bit of time, so while we're waiting for it to load, let's come and check our database that we've just created here. So if you don't see this table is written, that means something is wrong, or something went wrong on your installation process. You just need to go and verify. At first we had one table, but now after we've done all the process, it should show you other tables added under the database that we've just created, the DHIS2 database. Okay, so right, if you're seeing this, it means you have successfully installed your Tomcat. Congratulations. So that's fine. This shows that our server of Tomcat is up and running. Now we need to navigate to the DHIS2 directory. Let me just show you what we're talking about here. You still remember the WAR file that we have extracted in web app. We added this, and we run the tomcat.executable file to extract this DHIS2 file. So if we navigate in our browser to this file, we should be able to log into our DHIS2 system. So let's navigate to that DHIS2 and see if all the installation is completed successfully. Okay, so now we have managed to get to our login screen of our DHIS2. There is a default username and password that we can use. You can then change this once you are in the system. So the username is admin, and the password should be district. Let's see. So we've managed to log in successfully to our DHIS2 system. Right now there's nothing in here, so congratulations if you have managed to reach up to this point. That means that the installation went on fine. If you are facing any challenges, you can leave a comment, and I'll try to help you out. And I'll also include the links of all the files that you have used in the video description below. So thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next video episode, where I'll be showing you how to navigate around the system, how to change some parameters once you are in the system, and how to enter data, how to put some validation checks on the data that we have entered, and how to generate reports, maps and graphs